Hi everyone, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 global year and the 6 global month. And before I get into the details of that, I would just like to mention that if you haven't watched my 2021 forecast video yet, please watch that video. I would just also like to invite you to take a deep breath, decompress. That is going to be a major theme this month. And maybe even make your favorite food or your favorite beverage, kick back and relax, and, just kind of let what I have to say in this video sink in. I've got a smoothie here, just, just take a breather after everything that we've been through, and we're surely not out of the woods. It's kind of just like 2020 part 2 in a sense. And I know that everyone really wants it to be this immediate change because 5-year will be about change. But in my opinion, I don't think we're going to really start to see a lot until around March. And stay tuned, subscribe to this channel to, be updated on these monthlies. Now, if you would like personal monthly readings, sign up through Patreon, and I have that service. After this, I'm going to be making a video for my Patreon supporters, and that will be on their personal number. So check out the links in the description. Maybe I'll also pin it in a comment below. And let's get started. So something really interesting that happens every year is that when we get to January and February, it's a little bit of a rewind, and we experience the global month that we experienced back in November and December. So it's kind of like a rewind, try it again, but this time with a different year. This time with this new horizon that you have. And with each year, that's going to mean something different based on the numbers of the year, the numbers of the month, and of course, whatever the heck is going on in the globe at that time. And what we see here for this year of 2021 is that back in November, we had a month of 6, and here in January, we will have that 6 again. And then in February, we will have the 7 month. So December was the global 7 month, and now we're going to experience that again in February, but now we're in the 5-year. For those of you who are my Patreon supporters, you know that November was a lot about self-care, and that still applies. But I think now we have this added dimension, first of all, of freedom, the lesson of freedom, so self-care through the lens of freedom. Back in November, it was self-care through the lens of the practicality of the 4-year, the hard work of the 4-year, It was a different situation, but now we're faced with kind of really needing this soft, warm harmonization of the 6 as a means to gain access to what makes us feel like our lives are our own still. And a lot of us don't feel like that anymore with everything that has just happened. But also, I would say, regardless of the year that we're in, I think that every time we have this 6 month again, after having just experienced it, there's probably some responsibility that we all need to look at this month, that we all need to just address, typically within the family environment, typically within our communities, as that is what the 6 is all about. Just to zoom out a little bit, let's talk about the 4 and the 5-year, for those of you who are new to this channel and don't know. Last year was a 4 global year, a lesson in hard work, obstacles, perseverance, matters of the home. If you've watched my 2020 forecast video, you already know. 4 is practicalities, and often it asks us to look at things and address matters that have been put on the back burner. And I think that last year was a pretty gnarly experience, was a pretty gnarly lesson on what happens when we neglect things, when we neglect on a global scale our general infrastructure, our healthcare systems, even life itself, as we've seen with the Black Lives Movement. Yes, for some it was a respite from work. We got to work from home. But for others, it was a literal scramble for survival and still is. And so that is the polarity of these times. The number 2 in 2020 tends to do that to us. So we've had our lesson on hard work. And where are we now? 5 arrives with the next step to this. The lesson of freedom. This year might go very fast. Whenever you personally are going through your own 5-year, I'm going through whatever the world is going through. If your birthday adds up to the number 9, you are too. When I say birthday, I mean your month and day, not the year. It goes by very fast. I just went through a 5-month back in October, and I don't even remember October. I don't even know what happened in October. It was like it didn't happen, and the rest of the year was very slow. So prepare for this year to go by very fast and kind of get ahead of ourselves. I always wonder if, because time is relative, if we just focus our attention on the daily stuff, if that'll change. And I certainly try to do that every 5 anything that I'm going through. But somehow it still ends up going very fast and it's very charged. And I don't know why. I mean, 5 is the number of entropy, so we're expecting this, but just something to mention. At this time, as we enter this 5 years change, a lot of us feel fed up. We feel restless. We want that change, but like I said, I don't know if it's really going to actually manifest in some way until March. March will be an 8 month. Stay tuned for that. That's all I'm going to say. But I just think that what we should be doing right now is just taking a break, being patient with difficult social situations that we find ourselves in our communities, with our families. As 6, as I've already said, often has to do with our families. And if you are in tune with the cycles that we're going through, you might even find yourself in some deja vu moments from November for the reasons that I just described, because we had a similar lesson. So what I would like to ask all of you to do is think back to November, think about what that month felt like, think about maybe what the undercurrents of that month was for all of us on a global scale. And of course, you are going to be going through your own personal cycles, but if you're in tune with what the world's going through, or like I said, your month and day add up to the number 9, there was something in November that could pop up if it wasn't addressed in this month. And it'll probably be some kind of responsibility, something that you need to take care of before we move forward with this 5-year. And this is what we should all be doing. We shouldn't just want to burn everything down immediately, although, Kali Ma and the force of change is you can feel it this year. It's definitely here. It's not a time to be impulsive. January is not a time to be impulsive. Some possible things that could pop up nationally because of this 6-month repeat was the concerns that a lot of us had in the election season. So 6 is the number of domestics, and that's what we were dealing with in November. We were dealing with the election. That was the 6th event that was going on. We were, a lot of us, afraid of what kind of domestic terrorism that we would have to deal with in light of everything that is going on. And Unfortunately, we're kind of seeing that right now with the suicide bomber that just happened in Tennessee on Christmas. And we might see a little bit more of that. The concerns that we had for the election, but saw less of in November, might surface this month. This is not a time to like lose your head about it. Be centered in your peace. Be centered in your joy. Nothing can take away your peace. And I'm not saying this is not a time to be, ignoring things and to not be upset about what's been going on, because it is extremely frustrating. It is extremely upsetting. We're going to see the story play out and we'll all have very important roles within it, but it's not a time to lose our heads over this situation. And who knows what's going to happen, but these are some things that could happen this month. So regarding what I just said, in my notes I wrote, this January is a call for harmony, a call for help really, because humanity is our family, and we haven't taken care of it or one another in this paradigm. So that truth globally should come to surface somehow. And again, it's like never-ending domestic disputes. So let's focus more on the 6 month, some advice that I have for you guys, going from, sometimes a more broad outlook to something possibly very specific that would help you guys. And these are always things that I'm doing personally, going through these months myself. So 6 is peace. So how can you put that in your environment? How can you create that in your environment without anticipating it coming from some outcome or some external condition? Because this is really inner peace here. We as sovereign souls, think about always through the context, the lens of freedom. We need to give ourselves peace. It's not going to come from some condition. It's not going to be about depending on something. I wrote here that compared to other months this year, January could feel a lot more emotional. Maybe it will go a little bit more slower than the rest of the year. And it's a little bit more home-centered, a little bit more of like the homebody type of feeling. Something that I said a lot for my patron supporters for November, that sometimes self-care is saying no. So back in November, we were kind of supposed to build healthy boundaries with things. If we haven't done that yet, we should do that this month. Again, change is coming, but I think we're going to have to be patient. Guys, I'm sorry. I think we're going to have to be patient with this. And overall, just don't overdo it. Don't overwork yourself. Globally, that was for last year. That was for us just trying to work through obstacle after obstacle on a global level. We all need to take a breather. And this is really an opportunity to be creative as well. And I don't know what your personal situations are, but for example, I know for me, what I'm going to do when I'm done this weekend with everything with making these videos for you guys is I really want an immaculate morning playlist. I have a writing playlist and, a running playlist or whatever playlist, but I've never made a playlist for when you wake up early in the morning and you're just, making breakfast, having a cup of tea, starting your day. I think that this would be a very rejuvenating thing to have, is to wake up with an amazing playlist or sound or music, because 6 is the number of harmony. It's about tuning dissonance. It's about addressing dissonance. It's about, just honestly music. If in its physical form, 6 is sound waves, really. So that's a very specific piece of advice that I have for you this month is if you, maybe have neglected your music library and you are really into music, maybe go back to that. I know there's a long list of songs that I would like to download and, things like this. How can you create peace through the little things? When you're folding your laundry, when you are making food, when you're making a meal, when you are doing literally anything at all, how can you make it a peaceful, rejuvenating experience? And we're gonna need it because it's gonna be a bumpy ride, okay? I think that's all I have to say for now, for this month of January 2021. Just be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself this month. And I'm going to do something that I like to do for my Patreon readings, which is set an intention for you guys with a candle. I'm going to light this candle after I say this intention, and this will be for all my followers of Metanoia for the year 2021. The candle that I chose is courage, which is truly the courage to change this year. So here it says, let me harness my fears in a positive way to create strength in difficult situations. Give me a warrior's confidence to do what is right, not what is easy. Put that there. There you go. All right, and I'm going to set this aside. Ooh, okay. And let this burn throughout the remainder of the day for you guys. And I hope that peace, tranquility, some level of joy in this way finds you this month. Stay tuned for February, where we will be asked to journey a little bit more inwards before continuing the rest of this year. So let me know how you guys are doing and what your plans for this 6 month are. I would love to hear how you guys are doing in the comments, or any questions that you have. Still am taking requested videos, even though I will be making less videos this year. And I'm gonna stop it here before I ramble on. I'll see you all very soon. Take care, everyone.